So there's this question, attaching a skeletal mesh means we can directly create socket and attach sketchfab model. So the socket, what are the sockets used for? Sockets will always work with a skeletal mesh because every bone will have a socket attached with it, or you can create a socket for every bone. So the question says attaching a skeletal mesh means we can directly create socket and attach sketchfab model. Yeah, it is true. So we have the skeletal mesh of the metahuman or the any character that you have. Okay, so of course you can create a socket and you can attach a 3D model to it if you want. Hopefully I have a mesh, skeletal mesh over here, or I can just add a feature, a content pack. A third person always have a skeletal mesh. Just click add to the project. Right, I will open up and show you. So this is the third person, this is a blueprint for it. Alright, inside this blueprint you will find this skeletal mesh. I will double click it, it will open up. Currently the shaders are still compiling. So if I open up a static mesh and a skeletal mesh side by side, you can see that the static mesh, it doesn't have any bone, that's why it is called static, means stationary mesh. Okay, then we have the skeletal mesh which will have some movement in the future. Alright, so these skeletal meshes, right, it needs to be rigged. So these models are already rigged. Alright, Mixamo, what it does for you, it will automatically create a rig for you, and this is currently in the A pose, as you can see. So here are the bones, as you can see. I can right click and I can add a virtual bone as well, and then I can add a socket to it. After I have added the socket, I can right click and add a preview asset. So over here, so people get confused that okay, I have created a socket, why am I not able to see the actual object? So I will attach a quick object to it, right? I will choose any object over here. So I'll attach this object, just scale it. I don't know what this object is actually. Alright, so I just keep it somewhat like this, like maybe like it's a hat. Okay, so I have this object. Now people go back over here and they will be like, why am I not able to see this now? The object is there, but I'm not able to see over here. So it is because after you have created a socket, you have to add this inside the blueprint. Alright, so what you will do, you will add a static mesh. Okay, and this static mesh should be the child of your mesh. Okay, of a skeletal mesh actually. And over here in the parent socket, you need to select your socket that you created. Actually forget the name, it is spine. I can just search spine socket. So there is a socket, and then you can just attach the static mesh to it. So which static mesh we used over here? This was this roadster. So it is this static mesh 1952. So I will use the same static mesh over here, 1952. So well, there are a lot of them, but you get the idea, and then that model will be attached automatically in that place. Alright, so make sure you add the static mesh over here as a child of the mesh, skeletal mesh. Otherwise, you won't be able to see it. Okay. So let's get back. So that was the difference between the sockets. So over here, you will see it is an option to add a preview asset. It's called a preview asset. You just have to see how it will look. It is just showing how it will look. Okay. It is a preview asset. So that is how this was.